Welcome back to Gita Verse Hub, your sacred space for slow, reflective, verse-by-verse immersion into the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. In our previous episodes, we witnessed a powerful psychological unfolding. The links to the previous episodes are provided in the comment section of this video. Arjuna, the undefeated warrior, the master archer, the disciplined prince, began to crumble. In verses 1.27 to 1.31, his limbs trembled, his mouth dried, his skin burned, his Gandiva bow slipped from his hand. This was not physical weakness. This was emotional overload. Now, in verses 1.32 to 1.35, the crisis becomes philosophical. Arjuna moves from physical symptoms to emotional despair to moral reasoning to existential questioning. Today's episode is not just about war. It is about the collapse of ambition, the emptiness of achievement, the tension between love and duty, the confusion between compassion and avoidance. Let us enter this moment carefully, slowly, contemplatively. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine standing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, not of weapons, but of life decisions. That is where Arjuna stands. Kim no Rajinya, Govinda, Kim Bhoga Jivitenava, Yesham Arthe, Kangshitam no Rajyam Bhoga Sukhanicha. O Govinda, of what use to us is a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when those for whose sake we desire them are standing here in battle? This is Bhagavad Gita, verse 1.32. Arjuna asks one of the most universal human questions. What is success without loved ones? Notice how he addresses Krishna as Govinda, the giver of pleasure to the senses. This is not accidental. Arjuna is speaking from emotional attachment. He is not asking, is this war righteous? He is asking, will this bring happiness? He is measuring morality by emotional consequence. As is evident from Bhagavad Gita as it is by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Arjuna is speaking from the bodily conception of life. He is thinking in terms of family, social pleasure, and material happiness. From the spiritual perspective, the soul is eternal. Kingdoms, relationships, and possessions are temporary. Arjuna's compassion is natural, but it is based on illusion because it overlooks the eternal duty or dharma of the soul. Prabhupada emphasizes that attachment to bodily relations clouds spiritual vision. Adi Sankaracharya views Arjuna's grief as rooted in ignorance, avidya. His sorrow arises from identification with the body and family identity. Swami Vivekananda might frame this as the moment where emotion challenges strength. He teaches that attachment binds the soul to weakness. Mahatma Gandhi saw the battlefield as symbolic of the inner moral struggle. Arjuna's words represent the crisis where moral sentiment clashes with duty. This verse is profoundly relevant today, especially in high-performance, competitive, and achievement-driven environments. Let's explore it layer by layer. Success without meaning feels empty. I do not desire victory. Modern parallel, promotions, stock options, leadership titles, social media validation, material upgrades. Yet how many high achievers feel hollow after reaching the top? You can build a billion-dollar company, a powerful brand, a prestigious career. But if it costs relationships, integrity, health, or inner peace, victory tastes bitter. Achievement without alignment leads to emotional exhaustion. This is why burnout is highest among top performers. Arjuna shifts from strategy to purpose. In today's world, we optimize productivity, we automate workflows, we maximize ROI, we measure KPIs. But rarely do we pause and ask, why am I doing this? Verse 1.32 is the beginning of a purpose crisis. Many professionals experience this around. When purpose collapses, motivation disappears. Arjuna's dilemma. Winning means harming those he loves. Modern equivalent. Corporate decisions that impact employees. Business strategies that hurt competitors unfairly. Political power struggles. Family inheritance conflicts. Legal battles between relatives. Sometimes, success requires stepping over someone, and sensitive individuals pause. Ethical discomfort is a sign of inner refinement, not weakness. Pleasure loses meaning without emotional connection. What is the use of enjoyment or even life itself? This is powerful. Arjuna recognizes pleasure without loved ones is meaningless. In modern reflection, luxury vacations without emotional intimacy, big houses with empty rooms, social media fame without real friendship, career wins without someone to celebrate with. This verse reminds us that joy is relational, not transactional. Verse 1.32 is not the end of Arjuna's strength, it is the beginning of his transformation. In modern life, when your job feels meaningless, when success feels empty, when goals no longer excite you, when you question your entire direction, you are not falling or you are not failing. You are at the threshold of deeper clarity. Breakdown precedes breakthrough. From a modern psychological lens, verse 1.32 represents cognitive dissonance, values conflict, identity crisis, collapse of extrinsic motivation, onset of existential questioning. This is similar to what Viktor Frankl described. Humans can endure suffering, but not meaninglessness. Bhagavad Gita 1.32 teaches us, success without soul is hollow, achievement without ethics is unstable, pleasure without connection is empty, action without purpose collapses motivation. And most importantly, sometimes the most powerful question in life is not, how do I win, but why am I fighting? Ta ime vasthita yuddhe pranamans tyaktava dhananicha acharya pitaraha putras tataiva cha pitamaha. Teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, all these are standing before me, ready to give up their lives and wealth. This is Bhagavad Gita, verse 1.33. Arjuna is no longer speaking abstractly. He sees faces. His guru Dronacharya, his grandsire Bhishma, his cousins, his elders. This is not war against strangers. This is war against history. In the previous verse, Arjuna says he does not desire victory or kingdom. Now in 1.33, he deepens his reasoning. The very people for whom I want success are standing before me as opponents. This is not fear. This is relational awareness. Arjuna recognizes that success disconnected from loved ones loses meaning. Prabhupada explains that Arjuna's compassion is misplaced because he forgets that all these persons are eternal souls. The body may die, but the soul cannot be slain. Moreover, fighting for righteousness, Dharma Yuddha, is a sacred duty for a Kshatriya. Avoiding duty out of sentiment becomes weakness, not virtue. Adi Sankaracharya sees this as attachment to social identity. Arjuna identifies them as my teacher, my grandfather, reinforcing ego-based identity. Ramanujacharya emphasizes that righteous action must align with divine will, not personal attachment. This verse is extraordinarily relevant in today's achievement-driven world. Arjuna says, for whose sake we desire kingdom. Modern parallels: working 14-hour days for family, building wealth for children, chasing promotions for stability, growing influence for legacy. Yet, ironically, family relationships suffer, children feel emotionally distant, health declines, presence disappears. If the pursuit of success damages the very people it is meant to serve, the definition of success needs examination. Arjuna realizes, if his loved ones die in battle, what use is victory? Modern examples: retiring wealthy but alone, building status but losing friendships, winning legal disputes that permanently fracture family, corporate rivalry destroying long-standing relationships. You may win the battle but lose the relationship. Winning that costs connection is a disguised loss. Arjuna admits the kingdom of pleasures were desired for them. Many people build lives based on parental expectations, societal prestige, peer comparison, cultural definitions of success. But when crisis comes, they ask, did I ever want this for myself? Unexamined motivations collapse under pressure. Verse 1.33 exposes borrowed ambition. Arjuna's happiness was conditional. I will be happy if we win and enjoy together. But life is uncertain. Financial plans get disrupted by illness. Career dreams get altered by economic shifts. Relationships change unexpectedly. If happiness depends entirely on external stability, it is fragile. Sustainable joy must be internally anchored, not situationally dependent. Arjuna pauses before acting. Today's fast-moving world rewards aggressive scaling, rapid decision-making. competitive dominance. But verse 1.33 models something rare: empathy before action. He recognizes, these are not enemies, they are my people. Human awareness must precede strategic execution. This verse also invites deep introspection. Are you building your career for your parents' approval? Are you chasing titles to silence insecurity? Are you competing to prove worth? Are you sacrificing presence for a future that may never arrive? Arjuna's clarity: if the beneficiaries of success disappear, the goal dissolves. Modern translation: if your why is external and fragile, your motivation will not survive crisis. Many modern professionals experience emotional numbness, relational withdrawal, loss of meaning and achievement. Often this arises when the original purpose, supporting loved ones, becomes replaced by ego or habit. Verse 1.33 reminds us, the heart must remain connected to the original intention. Verse 1.33 teaches, attachment-based conflict, identity crisis under stress, breakdown of extrinsic motivation, realization of relational dependency in happiness, emotional empathy overriding aggression. From a modern psychology perspective, this is the moment values override ambition. Bhagavad Gita 1.33 teaches, success must include those it claims to serve. Relationships define the meaning of achievement. Motivation rooted in external beneficiaries is fragile. True clarity arises when ambition meets conscience. Before striving, ask, who am I doing this for? And more importantly, are they being included in the journey or sacrifice for it? Matulaha, Swasuraha, Pautraha, Shalaha, Sambandhinastata, Etanna, Hantamichami, Dvantopi, Madhusudana. O Madhusudana, I do not wish to kill these relatives, even if they kill me. This is Bhagavad Gita, verse 1.34. In this verse, Arjuna is no longer speaking abstractly. He begins listing relationships. This is powerful. He does not say, enemy soldiers. He says, my teachers, my father figures, my sons, my elders, my relatives. This verse represents the emotional humanization of conflict. As per Prabhupada, non-violence is not absolute passivity. When injustice rises, protecting Dharma may require action. Krishna will later reveal, Arjuna is merely an instrument. True non-violence is alignment with divine will, not paralysis. Let's see where we find the relevance in modern days. Refusal to retaliate even when attacked. Arjuna says, even if they kill me. Modern parallels. Being unfairly criticized at work. Facing betrayal by someone trusted. Being attacked publicly or politically. Experiencing aggression in business competition. The instinct is retaliation. But Arjuna pauses. Moral strength includes the capacity not to retaliate blindly. The cost of passive morality. Arjuna prefers withdrawal. Avoiding difficult conversations, staying silent against wrongdoing. Choosing comfort over responsibility. Avoiding leadership decisions to stay nice. Sometimes we confuse emotional discomfort avoidance with moral superiority. The Gita unfolds because this confusion must be resolved. Api Trailokya Rajyasya Heto King no Mahikrite Nihatya Dhartarashtraamna Ka Priti Swajanardana. Even for rulership over the three worlds, what joy would there be in killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? This is Bhagavad Gita, verse 1.35. Prabhupada clarifies, Arjuna is calculating happiness materially, but true fulfillment comes from service to the Supreme. Joy is alignment, not possession. Arjuna now rejects even ultimate power. Three worlds, heaven, earth, and the intermediate realm. He says, even that is meaningless. This is existential emptiness. This verse speaks directly to ethical conflict, retaliation, and moral restraint in modern life. Power is not worth moral correction, he says. Not even for the three worlds. This is hyperbolic, meaning, no amount of power justifies this action. Would you sacrifice integrity for promotion? Would you damage a colleague for visibility? Would you exploit loopholes for profit? Would you destroy relationships for dominance? Verse 1.35 challenges, what is your ethical price? Arjuna rejects kingdom, pleasure, earthly rule, even cosmic sovereignty. Ambition has no natural limit, but ethics must set one. Without boundaries, corporations exploit. Leaders become authoritarian. Families fractured. Individuals rationalize harm. Ambition must be governed by conscience. Here lies something subtle. Arjuna's refusal seems compassionate, but the Gita will later show compassion must align with dharma, righteous duty. Sometimes, firing someone is necessary. Enforcing boundaries is required. Confronting injustice demands action. Avoiding conflict creates greater harm. Verse 1.35 represents emotional compassion, but not yet enlightened clarity. This is important. Arjuna asks, what happiness will we gain after destroying them? We find so much relevance today. Winning a corporate power struggle but losing trust. Defeating a colleague publicly by damaging reputation. Winning an argument in a relationship but hurting the bond. Crushing competition in business but feeling internally uneasy. You may technically win, but internally feel no joy. If the outcome destroys your inner peace, it is not a real victory. Many professionals today experience this. Achievement without emotional satisfaction. This verse reminds us, before pursuing success, ask, will this actually bring peace? Arjuna forces something profound. Even if we win, we will carry the emotional burden of how we won. Modern examples. Leaders who compromise values for rapid growth. Founders who sideline co-founders to gain control. Families who win inheritance battles but fracture permanently. Political victories that deepen societal division. External success can create internal regret. A result is only worthwhile if you can live peacefully with the process that produced it. This is a powerful leadership lesson. Sustainable success must align with conscience. Before any major decision, ask, will this outcome truly make me happy? Or will I win externally and lose internally? Arjuna's question is timeless. What joy will come from this? Verse 135 has psychological interpretation. It represents empathy overload, conflict avoidance response, moral absolutism under stress, attachment-based paralysis, identity collapse under duty pressure. This is the emotional beginning point before spiritual teaching begins. Bhagavad Gita 135 teaches, not all power is worth pursuing. Retaliation is not always strength. Compassion is powerful, but must be guided by wisdom. Ethical hesitation is the doorway to higher understanding. Arjuna stands at the edge of emotion versus duty, attachment versus dharma, love versus responsibility. And this tension is deeply modern. We live in a culture obsessed with scale. Bigger companies, bigger homes, bigger followings, bigger titles. But scale does not equal peace. Power does not equal joy. Arjuna exposes this illusion. Let us observe what the purport from the Bhagavad Gita as it is has to say. For Bhagavad Gita 132 to 135. Arjuna has addressed Lord Krishna as Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasures for cows and the senses. By using the significant word, Arjuna indicates that Krishna should understand what will satisfy Arjuna's senses. But Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses. If we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, however, then automatically our own senses are satisfied. Materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses, and he wants God to be the order supplier for such satisfaction. The Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve, but not to the extent that they may covet. But when one takes the opposite way, namely, when one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then, by the grace of Govinda, all desires of the living entity are satisfied. Arjuna's deep affection for community and family members is exhibited here partly due to his natural compassion for them. He is therefore not prepared to fight. Everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives. But Arjuna fears that all his relatives and friends will be killed on the battlefield, and he will be unable to share his opulence after victory. This is a typical calculation of material life. The transcendental life, however, is different. Since a devotee wants to satisfy the desires of the Lord, he can, Lord willing, accept all kinds of opulence for the service of the Lord. And if the Lord is not willing, he should not accept a farthing. Arjuna did not want to kill his relatives, and if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna kill them personally. At this point, he did not know that Krishna had already killed them before their coming into the battlefield, and that he was only to become an instrument for Krishna. This fact is disclosed in following chapters. As a natural devotee of the Lord, Arjuna did not like to retaliate against his miscreant cousins and brothers. But it was the Lord's plan that they should all be killed. The devotee of the Lord does not retaliate against the wrongdoer, but the Lord does not tolerate any mischief done to the devotee by the miscreants. The Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Therefore the Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although Arjuna wanted to excuse them. Verses 132 to 135 shows 4 stages. Number 1. Loss of meaning in ambition. Number 2. Emotional attachment intensifies. Number 3. Moral resistance forms. Number 4. Existential questioning speaks. Arjuna is not weak, he is honest. And honesty precedes transformation. Pause and ask yourself, where in life are you feeling? What's the point? Is your hesitation wisdom or fear? Are you avoiding unnecessary duty? Are you chasing something that won't satisfy you? Write it down. Let this verse become personal. Dear seekers, before divine wisdom enters in chapter 2, confusion must surface fully. Arjuna's breakdown is the soil in which clarity will grow. In the next episode, Arjuna will express deeper concerns about sin, family destruction, and moral decay. And then, Krishna will speak. If this reflection resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to Gita Verse Hub. Because the battlefield of Kurukshetra is not history. It is happening inside the human heart. And the Bhagavad Gita is not just scripture. It is our guidance for every modern crisis. Hare Krishna.